Hi, guys. Sorry, I am early, but I forgot that I have a kid appointment. I swear, if my brain were not stable to my head at some point, I would possibly lose it, I think. So, always there, always ready to help my brain lost on its own tangent. Eris, good morning. Thank you for doing the mod things. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Cynthia. And Squid Pro Quo, and Ali Riddell, and Maja Loon, and Celestial Force, T. Underwood, Hey Shori, Celestial Force. Oh, I already said Celestial Force, sorry. Judge Maddie, Aussie Just Jen, two awesome dogs, and you have a husky. Awesome. Shizzy, and Hey Joe, and Debbie Morin. Did I miss something about corn? Hey Jude, and Welsh Lady Reads, and Mandy Panny, and let's see, Zach. We should. Uh, I am looking. I think I've got more happy stories. Yesterday was just a terrible, not happy story kind of day. Unfortunately, in the afternoon. Good morning, Slinky, and Good Citizen, and John, and Twisted Logic. And John, you'll be happy to know I showed Mr. Mo the lawsuit of adult sculptural objects, and he was like, "Where do you find these things?" Let me see what my audio is doing. Well, of course, because it's being a butthole.
All right, that should be much better because it went to my actual mic. I have to change it. I got my new mic. It's beautiful. Yay. And Mr. Mo was like, "Oh, dear Lord." Okay, is the sound much better? Or did I still make it crazy? Because I've got it on. Oh, okay. Yeah, it accidentally switched to the camera, which is it has never done before. So I'll have to start checking that on my Hot Mess Express day. I'll remember that. But he's like, "It's the same thing." And I said, "No, this is the cheap knockoff of this thing." So he was not amused because I made him put together one of those cubey storage things last night. And I swear those things were sent directly from Hades to terrify anyone that has to put them together. That's just me. I mean, he managed to do it without as much cursing as I normally do. So, but that's usually because I've put something on backwards and I don't realize it until, now, generally. In our first news story, Arnold Schwarzenegger is old. Good Lord. He's getting older and he's dragging me with him. I remember you from Kindergarten Cop. Stop dragging me into old age, sir. Not fair. Arnold Schwarzenegger said he had a pacemaker fitted after 3 open heart surgeries. Arnold Schwarzenegger said he had pacemaker fitted last week after previously undergoing 3 open heart surgeries. Speaking on Monday, March 25th, episode of his podcast, Arnold's Pump Club. I try to do the punny stuff. It's not a tumor. I can't do Arnold. I can barely do voices, let alone my own Android English. The 76-year-old broke the news and he joked that he now has a machine part just like the Terminator character. Last Monday, I had surgery to become a little bit more of a machine. I got a pacemaker, he told listeners. I have to tell you, just saying this to all of you goes against so much of my upbringing in Austria where nobody ever talked about medical issues. Well, I mean, you did make some of us who didn't want to do certain things sound like, we were on the side of the Ubermensch. So, I think you've gotten over that whole fear of talking out loud, dingus. Everything related to healthcare was kept to yourself. My god, the thought. If we didn't put everything on the Twitters and, the Instagrams, what would we do with our lives? And I know this is, hypocritical, me being a streamer, so, I get the hypocrisy. He added, "So since I know that it's going against my secretive instinct and being transparent helps people, what choice do I have?" The star, who was seen on stage at the Oscars earlier this month presenting an award alongside his Twins co-star Danny DeVito, also assured fans that he is having a speedy recovery. "Sir, you cheated on Skeletor with the world's most visually well, you cheated with someone who ostensibly has much inner beauty, and love is in the eye of the beholder. But, sir, you done cheated on Skeletor, and I don't know why you married Skeletor to begin with. First of all, I want you to know I'm doing great," Schwarzenegger said. "I had my surgery on Monday, and by Friday, I was already at a big environmental event with my friend and fellow fitness crusader, Jane Fonda. Well, if anything will get you closer to death or make you want to be in a hospital, it's being around Jane Fonda." There you go. By the way, when we talk about exercise being the only magic pill to slow down aging, look at Jane. She's 10 years older than me, turning 87 this year. Oh crap, you done told Jane Fonda's age to the public. Um, Sir, I'm not gonna say you're being Florida-sided, but you're gonna be Florida-sided. Schwarzenegger went on to thank his medical team who took amazing care of him and made the surgery as painless as possible. "No one would ever have thought I started this week with surgery," he added, noting that his advisors advised him it was time to get a pacemaker because some scar tissue from my previous surgery had made my heartbeat irregular. Well, there you go. It's been an eventful year for the action man so far. In January, the former California governor was detained at the Munich International Airport for attempting to take an quote unquote unregistered watch through customs, according to a report from TMZ. Okay, who's going to take it from him though? Like, I'm the TSA agent. I'm gonna be like, "You know what? I have seen Terminator 2, I have seen Terminator 1, and I have seen Predator. Hell, I even saw Commando with my dad." Now, I don't understand how an international bad guy was wearing a fishnet, tank top and had a porn stash from wherever, but Commando was a great movie. So I respect you, sir. I'm not gonna take your watch away. But I do need someone to explain to me how the mastermind in Commando was wearing a fishnet tank top, the weirdest porn stash ever, and had an Aussie accent. I just need to have all of that explainerated. It was a corn stash? True. No, I saw Commando with my dad. I think I even watched the terrible, oh gosh, Jesse Ventura, movie where he was an alien allergic to or in love with tomatoes and in that weird sort of jumpsuit. My dad loved that stuff. I'm just so he would, rope me into watching those, but I did watch it. Hey, I love Predator. In fact, my favorite, done settings go in, Danny Glover levels. So, uh, I love Danny Glover because he essentially plays the same character in every movie, old, tired of this crap, and ready to retire. So, on my day of, like, Danny Glover doneness, I start with Predator 2, sweaty Danny Glover, and Top where I'm just done with everything is Lethal Weapon 74, Why Is Chris Rock in My Movie? Danny Glover. Thankfully, Mr. Mo now knows what I'm talking about because I have had to explain my levels of doneness Danny Glover rating system to him. You're right, Veilhammer. Bennett can porn stash and fishnet tank top it up if he wants. He can. He really, really can. No, I made it up myself. Well, not the Jesse Ventura one. It's something it's got the most terrible synth music behind it. It scarred me as a child, so now I'm scarring you all with it. In New York, what happens when you accidentally throw away jewelry, cash, or even lottery tickets? Your SOL is what I'm guessing, but they made a story about it, so let's see. It's a New York nightmare. What if you accidentally throw out your precious jewelry or money or car keys with the city's 24 million pounds of trash collected daily? Last Friday, Jill, a Staten Island mother of three, was distraught when she realized she just tossed all three her wallet, which contained not only cash and credit cards, but her car keys and a pair of gold earrings from the 1940s had ended up in the trash after a mix up while her daughter unloaded bags from their car. She realized this just after the Department of Sanitation garbage truck had emptied her family's trash cans and rolled away. Not all of them. Let's see. Everything else would be a headache to replace, but she was crushed by the loss of jewelry, which was a family heirloom. I wore the earrings for my wedding. My daughter wore them for her high school graduation and prom, Jill said, who asked for her last name to be withheld. When you lose something so personal, you're hysterical. She's not alone. Joshua Goodman, Deputy Commissioner of Public Affairs and Customer Experience for the New York Department of Sanitation, said they get similar frantic calls a couple of times each month. Over the years, New Yorkers have tossed out and recovered a $1,500 lottery ticket, laptops, clothing, passports, even telefilm Telflin, leather boxes from Orthodox Jewish men to bind their arms to hold their prayer scrolls. In such instances, Goodman said, it's a good reminder that every item in the trash used to belong to someone. Jill drove around her neighborhood trying to locate the truck to no avail. When she called 311, who connected her with the Staten Island transfer station, where the neighborhood waste was loaded into a larger trucks for a journey to the final disposal spot. The station would be Jill's last hope, and it's usually not open to the public. But employees were able to pinpoint the local truck that had picked up Jill's garbage and prevent the cargo from being shipped out of the city. Uh, you have a finite amount of time, 2 or 3 hours after street pickup, before the trash is taken to a transfer station and taken out of the city via a barge or rail cart, said Goodman. Jill called within a half hour. The DOS invited her to the station to dig through a mountain of trash, giving her 90 minutes, and suggested she bring a friend to help. Everyone has their emergency contact. They should have their emergency trash buddy. Oh my gosh. You're my trashiest friend. You're the look, you're my bestest friend, and uh, I would never want to pick garbage with anyone but you. Um, well, I mean, it's an interesting hazmat suit. Jill arrived at the warehouse near Fresh Kills Park. Who the hell names a park Fresh Kills Park? Might as well just invite a Hellmouth and Buffy the Vampire Slayer to, you know, show up at this place. Yep, we're gonna name it, Freshly Decayed Corpses Children's Safety Park. Zombie Apocalypse, the Ted Bundy Memorial, Family Fun Center. What in the actual hell? Good morning, Casey. Yes, I am glad Shizzy has said something about corn because I am like, "What is going on? Is this an Indiana thing because I'm from there?" But there you go. I will learn. Uh, let's see here. They along with helpful sanitation workers, including one who offered her a pair of heavy-duty gloves after seeing hers and recognized they would be no match for Staten Island garbage. "I'm usually in pressed pants and lipstick," said Jill, noting that the knee-deep refuse was pretty smelly. Goodman noted that the city's trash is, quote, less gross than it used to be thanks to the rollout of curbside composting, though the program won't reach Staten Island until October. Well, no. After about an hour of searching, Jill spotted her green wallet. "I was in shock," she said. "Everything was intact, but it smelled like a pile of garbage. I treated myself to a nice new Anne Klein wallet. It's bright yellow. Now I'm into all these bright colors because God forbid if anything should happen like this again." Her 19-year-old daughter, who mixed up the bags, meanwhile, lost car privileges for a week. That's mean. I mean, who hasn't thrown out their mother's, wallet and made her dig through the trash? "They were so wonderful," she said of sanitation workers. "They do deal with garbage, but they have big hearts, and when you think the city doesn't care, sometimes deep down it does. No, move away from cities. You could not pay me enough to live in New York." That is the end of that one. But then again, I'm not a big peopling person. In a dingus move of the century, a firefighter who's also been convicted, so is lower than corrotated trash water. Um, a firefighter who should know that most of the times if you try to burn a scene, evidence still remains, uh, s surprisingly didn't get away with the crime of the century. Who knew? An Illinois volunteer firefighter has been convicted of unaliving his pregnant girlfriend and starting a fire at his house. Lower than dumpster water. How does it feel when dumpster water is of more moral standing than you? Also, you have Jimmy Brewer eyes. I don't know that I trust you around anything. Matthew Pelote, 36, is guilty of all charges, including first-degree murder and concealing a homicidal death, according to Rockford CW affiliate WIFR. Jurors reportedly took 2 hours on Friday, after lunch probably, let's be honest. We gotta get that free lunch in because you're only paid like $5. Well, look, I'm feeling a little nauseated this morning with all my meds, so I was trying to keep those out of there, but, wait, yeah, it always interests me when people say Illinois, because I'm like, Illinois?" But then again, I butcher every single name from, Nebraska and Kansas. So, you can't I can't really blame people. Good morning, Leslie and Mass and MG Law and JKD Buck and Mandy Pandy. Uh, he had in fact unalived Melissa Lamish and her unborn child. His unborn child. Just gross. Lamish, an EMT, who was actually doing some good in the world, had been on maternity leave preparing for the arrival of her first child. Firefighters found her unconscious on the kitchen floor. Investigators at first believed that she had passed away due to asphyxia amid the house fire, but over the course of 14 months of investigating, they determined that Pelote, a firefighter and EMT at the Malta Fire Department, unalived her, then sparked the flames. Investigators said that Pelote had given her a firm neck hug. If you are new here, there are certain phrases that YouTube really doesn't like when describing violence. So, neck hug is a euphemism until she wasn't breathing and unalive. Melissa's eldest sister, Cassandra Ball, testified that she was speaking with the victim on the day of the tragedy, according to WIFR. Lamish told her that a man named Matt had come over and she would call right back, but Melissa never called back. During an interview with authorities on August 28th, 2021, Pelote reportedly said he did not intend on hurting Lamish and he was, quote, sorry we went to the house that day. Retired Ogle County Lieutenant Brian Kettler, who participated in the questioning, testified that Pelote never confessed to actually carrying out the unaliving. A pathologist reportedly testified that the victim had no soot in her lungs or airways, and she was, well, asphyxiated by a person and not smoke. The defendant was the father of the baby, Lamish's brother reportedly said. I know, I saw that. Let me see if I can pull it up. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, good night, nurse. Well, there you go. Never mind. I have been diverted. What in the name of all that is Veggie Tales gone 50 Shades of Grey? You know, this is never gonna be part of the Bible story they tell you. To be fair, okay, so VeggieTales did have a toy that made it through development at somehow that was a vibrating asparagus. Just saying it didn't look right. You can now buy the corn cob, adult sculptural pleasure item from the Sexual Education Season number 4. I don't know what that show is, but then again, I don't watch shows all that much. Now, I do watch a lot of true crime, which scares Mr. Mo. Anyhoozle. You might have assumed the corn on the cob adult sculptural, pleasure item that was in that scene of Netflix's Smexual Education was a prop, but we're here to tell you it is a very real Smexy toy that you can actually buy it. You know, has anyone seen Parenthood, that movie, with, Steve Martin and Diane Keane or Kane, I think? Where they find her adult sculptural object and, during a family thing, could you imagine if they found the adult sculptural corn cob object? I mean, it's almost as embarrassing as if, like, say, your mother-in-law was looking for a flashlight and found something else. You guys know what I'm talking about. 'Cause get giving, quote, "groceries straight to your door," end quote, a whole new meaning. The corn, adult enhancement apparatus is a body-safe silicone toy with 7 settings. From creamed to popped. Oh, dear lord. Please tell me they have different varieties, like, never mind. Please tell me they have the Harvest Indian, corn for the end of the season just for diversity, because points. Uh, with lumps and bumps all over to, well, enhance things. It's actually a pretty great shape that you can use, well, all over. I can't read any of this stuff. The diameter is pretty girthy, and it's totally waterproof in case you wanna take corn into the bath. Not a rubber ducky for you. A corn on the cob pipe will do. It is battery operated, so, make sure you stock up at the local Sam's Club. Uh, However, the batteries are included with this little doodad. Y'all, if I get one of these sent to me, I'm telling you what. The batteries also mean that the motor is pretty quiet and not too rumbly. Oh, so you're not gonna burn your bits off and have it become popped corn. Are you okay, wait, are you making cornbread then? I'm gonna make some cornbread. Totally derailed. Bustamoo, I have been derailed. Someone sent me this news story, which means that I have lost my ability to adult. The corn, item is actually on offer at the moment, 3 for $2. At Holland and Barrett, they want you to get your 5 a day in. You can choose from a banana, a chili, an eggplant, and a carrot. Haven't we been abusing fruits long enough on the hub? I mean, I'm just saying. The resounding feedback from users is that Celia's, aka Hannah Gadsby's, corn object is surprisingly packs a punch, and the knobbly bobbly bits feel wonderful. So there you go. Good morning, JD fan. Y'all, I live amongst a bunch of cornfields. Now you know I'm gonna have to it has friends. You can have, you know, your all of your fruits and vegetables in one day. You can just have a little garden basket. You know how people put wax fruits, or at least like your grandma put a big old bowl of wax fruits out? Uh, you just put your items of sculptural importance out in the middle in a festive harvest basket. You have walked into apparently they have made fruit and vegetable shaped adult sculptural objects. So there you go. Um, so there you are. If you'd like to have just a corntastic time, I guess with that have fun with that. Um, a wife who may need a corn sculptural object, a tongue-tied groom flubs wedding vows in an epic blunder. No one can forget or live this down. A tongued a knot was tied and so was his tongue. A UK groom had his bride blushing for a different reason after accidentally telling her he would laugh at her when she's sad, as seen in a hysterical video. It's one moment that no one can forget or live down. Robert Thompson, 36, told SWNS of the memorable matrimonial meltdown. The gaffe happened last year while the construction worker and his bride-to-be Amy had been celebrating their big day last April in their hometown of Essex. "It was such a lovely day," gushed Thompson, reminiscing on the joyous occasion. However, things went south when the Lugbirds took to the altar and recited their vows. "I call upon these persons here present to witness that I, Robert James Thompson, do take thee, Amy, Suzanne, Sheila, Jacqueline, Alden." Giblets in Hefferton, ma'am. You have I feel so sorry for you. I thought I was pissed off as a kindergartner having a seven-letter name. Your parents just had you right in the whole crown. It was just a little nub by the time you finished your name. Uh, "To be my lawful wedded wife," he said, repeating the officiant's cue, "as I take you to be my wife, I promise to love you, honor, and respect you." Thompson got a little choked up, but gathered himself and continued, whereupon he delivered a nuptial blunder for the ages. "I will stand by you and be true to your will." No. The groom declared, "I will care for you, laugh at you when you're happy, laugh at you when you're sad." Look, to be fair, does she make a funny sad face? Does it kinda go like I mean, look, if she gets a dodgy eye when she gets sad, I would laugh too, but that's just me. His verbal slip-up sent the wedding party, including Amy, into hysterics as Thompson realized he'd made an epic mistake. After the laughter died down, the red-faced builder put his hand on his other half's shoulder and recited the correct line, "I will comfort you when you're sad." She's like, "You had one job. One job." The Brit chalked up the verbal gaffe to the fact that he was feeling extra nervous because Amy was, quote, 45 minutes late. Sir, get used to that. Thankfully, the newlyweds believe the slip of the tongue was quite humorous in retrospect. "I did see the funny side of it," said Thompson, "and our family and friends definitely saw the funny side of it too." I don't think he realized until the reaction seconded his bride. We'll never forget it. In a much cruder, less charming instance of wedding vows gone awry, a Florida groom was shamed online after promising to smack his partner's A every time he got. Promises? Don't tempt someone with a good time. I mean, look, that's just don't hate. Don't hate on people. In a not so happy story, adults with autism faced quote unquote torture at this LA group home. Their moms want justice, as do I. I used to work with kind of my first real grown up job, where I was doing all the adult things and attempting to be a real grown up human. Uh, was working with people with developmental delays in kind of private or semi-private home settings, helping them interact with the world, and I really took my job seriously, but I could see how it could be abused quite readily. To caregiver I can read English. Two caregivers edged toward the staff bathroom as the sound of slaps and scream ricocheted across the ranch-style home. The evening of August 25th, 2023 had already been exceptionally trying one for the staff at Elwyn Mayall, a four-person home in Northridge for adults with developmental disabilities. Jude Cabanante, one of the home's residents with autism, had spread waste across his mattress and vomited on the floor, according to staff reports from that night. The caregivers had hosed down the sheets. Cabanati seemed to want to get clean too. Shower, shower, said Cabanati, 31. Uh, something, a name, Adeluncle Fabumi, who was assigned to watch him that evening, told him no. A coworker would later tell an internal investigator. Cabanati ran for the staff bathroom where he emptied a container of disinfectant wipes and began chugging water out of it, according to an incident report reviewed by the Times. Fabanumi followed. By the time the two other caregivers got to the bathroom, Fabanumi was striking Cabanati in the head, a scene captured on a cell phone video taken by one of the caregivers. The 13-second video, viewed by the Time, captures four slaps to the face and one punch to his left ear. One more slap can be heard off camera. Absolutely not. No. First of all, you don't leave a human in their own waste, especially when they ask for help. You assist them. It sounds like he was having a negative reaction to something, or this was a behavior that should have, you know, engaged in redirection and said, okay, let's get you a shower, but you have to help clean your room. This is not acceptable, within your company policies. But unfortunately, working as a developmental disability, assistant, you don't get paid the best. I have met people that were just there for, the paycheck basically and did the bare minimum, and I know people that really loved their clients and wanted them to get into the world, but you redirect. If he's showing that he's encouraging, that he wants to go to a shower, you then say, "Okay, you can go take a shower now, but then you have to help with your sheets because you made a mess. Is there something that's upsetting you?" And honestly, with as a person with autism, he might not be able to verbalize what's upsetting him. But you get a lot of people who don't understand the sort of emotional necessities and uh, things that you need to deal with people who are neurodivergent, who need extra help. And people think it's an easy job, you get to just sit on a couch or do whatever, and you don't. You have to engage, you have to learn individual, personalities, and unfortunately, they don't pay as much as they should to get quality people. Let's see, Fabanumi, a 53-year-old employee known as quote unquote "pastor," pastor of what? Satan? would continue to torment Cabanati throughout the home, additional footage showed. In the living room, he threw him nude from the waist down from the couch onto the ground as he screamed. In the room next door, he ordered Cabanati, still wearing only a bright red t-shirt, to do 400 jumping jacks as he cried out to stop. The videos do not show either of his colleagues intervening. You two are giant dingleberries too. You should have stopped this. This is abuse. This is abuse and disgusting. Fabumi declined to discuss the case in a brief phone call and referred the reporter to his attorney, Christian Oronce. The attorney who represented him in a state investigation into the incident provided the Times a letter he'd sent to the state saying he believed the accusations of abuse at the Northridge facility were false after interviewing his client, but further declined comment. Just what in the actual hell? As California looks to move people with developmental disabilities from institutional style facilities into smaller, more intimate homes, Elwyn has become a lifeline for the state, where officials say such homes are in critically short supply. The 170-year-old nonprofit, which describes itself as a premier internationally recognized provider for people with developmental disabilities, operates nearly 50 licensed homes in California for adults who can't live alone. That's more than nearly any other organization, state data shows. Now, the problem is, at least from what I saw in my own local company, so I don't know if this is the same with this particular company, is they don't take in the individual kind of personalities and needs of the clients. Sometimes they don't put the best people together, so even though you're semi-independent, you have your own room, you could have one client who greatly enjoyed quiet, along with another client who loved nothing more than to make loud noises because that was his happy place. So, not a lot of attention to detail was placed on that, and you already have chaos. Uh, the violence captured on the video at the Northridge home has raised questions about Elwyn's prominent role as a caregiver for some of the most vulnerable Californians, and whether oversight bodies are prepared to keep troubled homes in check amid severe shortages in bed. On August 25th, the same night that Famumi hit and punched Cabanati, he forced another resident of the home, 30-year-old Giorgio Topetti, to sit in the living room floor for 3 hours, as a coworker later told police. Fabuni hit or stood over Topetti in an intimidating manner when he tried to move, putting his hands twice on him. No, sir, you need to go directly to jail. Look, I have had my behind tanned by some clients. I had scratches, I had to go to the doctor. It can be a dangerous job, but never would I step beyond that boundary of, what I was given as protocol for my company, because these are still people that don't quite, while you can, up to a point, have self-control and understand, they still see the world in a completely different way. So you have to be on sorry, you have to be on watch for, behaviors that escalate. The idea that, they don't have people that are there that can really understand the client and stick with them, instead float. It's this is just maddening. He would go on to deny to his bosses he hit anyone that night, except for, I don't know, the video. Within a week, he was no longer employed at Elwyn, according to the nonprofit. The LAPD submitted a case in late October for Los Angeles City's attorney's office to consider misdemeanor battery charges. The case is still pending. Elwyn said in a statement that the health and safety of those it serves is of paramount importance. Over 20 years, Elwyn has supported this mission in California very effectively with a high level of satisfaction from both supported persons and their loved ones, Elwyn said, adding that the nonprofit's track record was exemplary. The allegations are isolated to a particular set of circumstances and do not represent Elwyn's longtime standing in California. Famuni's colleagues accused him of assaulting a man he was paid to protect once before. In the spring of 2019, Famuni was working as a caregiver for both Elwyn and People Creating Success, a company that serves people with developmental disabilities. That June, a manager at People Creating Success called the LAPD after a staffer said she saw Famuni slap a nonverbal man with cerebral palsy at its group home in West Hills, according to a police report. The staffer told police Famuni had grown frustrated trying to put a shirt on a trembling 55-year-old, telling him he was the most difficult to work with. People Creating Success terminated him within 2 weeks of the incident, according to the report. This man needs to be locked up. Why is he working with vulnerable people? Mooney would later sue the company, arguing that the staff, quote unquote, made up the accusation to get rid of him. The attorney who represented the company said the case was resolved through a confidential statement. After investigating, the LAPD referred the case of misdemeanor battery to the city's attorney's office. Frank Montajon, an official with the office, said the matter was, quote, resolved outside of court through a city attorney hearing, a way to settle low level crimes without criminal prosecution. Typically, in these hearings, the perpetrator is provided with, quote, guidance as to how to avoid violating the law. Don't slap people you're supposed to be taking care of. People Creating Success reported the alleged abuse to California's Department of Social Services, which licenses the home, according to the state report. After an internal investigation, the company banned Famuni from going near the home. The agency told the Times it was investigating the claim as well, but didn't find enough evidence to warrant banning him from other licensed homes. This meant he could keep working at a cluster of Elwyn homes just a few miles from where he was fired. Elwyn said it was never notified about the investigation or the criminal case by the Department of Social Services, which had received a report of alleged abuse. Advocates say that the incident has exposed failure at every level in a system built to hold abusers accountable. Y'all, bureaucracy is the dumbest thing. I can't. They've got video of this and everything, and because they were worried that, they were going to get sued. And also, little note about these nonprofit developmental, companies. The CEO goes around and does golf dates all year, and I'm sure CEO stuff. But in order to make sure that they don't show a profit, it doesn't go into it doesn't go where it's supposed to go, in my personal opinion, and from what I saw. It doesn't go into there. It could be that, Ghostery. I think it's a factor that it also, if you require, let's say you have a CNA or at least a med tech license to work at this, so you're kind of aware of medical issues and you have a higher knowledge, you have to pay people a little more. And you can't get away with, hiring Joe Schmo off the street with, 1 week of training to work at a highly stressful job that you have to be on your toes at all times, and able to do that. So I think it's a factor that, you're going to have people that are drawn to that, but you're also going to have, just people that aren't equipped for the job but think it might be easy. You're just sitting at a house, you're just, you know, doing sort of things. They think it's kind of like babysitting, and they don't realize the amount of actual work it is and what you have to do to keep things, fairly level. So I think it's a factor of bunch of different things. On some good news, I guess, if you eat at McDonald's, McDonald's is slowly reintroducing a discontinued fan favorite breakfast item. Customers in Alabama and Pennsylvania have reported their local Golden Arches are once again offering bagel sandwiches. So you too can pay $15 for a breakfast sandwich. Inflation and prices may vary in your locality. I'm just kidding. I have no idea how much these things are. I don't eat at McDonald's generally. Eagle-eyed breakfast or fast food sleuths believe that the latest development in the gradual reintroduction of the hotly desired item to menus across the country. They previously appeared on a few Southern California menus in January and on menus in some regions of Tennessee last October. McDonald's is offering their traditional bacon, egg, cheese, and sausage, egg, and cheese bagel sandwiches in addition to a new selection, the steak, egg, and cheese bagel. What exactly Z-level steak cut are you getting at McDonald's? It's steak in the loosest sense of the term. It's spam snake or it's spam steak. I'm just kidding. Allegedly, McDonald's, don't come after me. I'm sure it is grade A, 100% US grown, beef straight from like prime, pure blood Santa Gertrudis cattle. I'm sure it is. Uh, So there you go. A Facebook group, Where's My McDonald's Bagel, has seen posts from users across America. There really is a group for everyone. If you too obsess about McDonald's bagels, you have a group. Several customers in different parts of Texas reported that bagel sandwiches have returned to local stores, but some say they're only available by request and are not printed on the menu. Some patrons similarly reported that the sandwiches are offered in store only and not available on the McDonald's app. One customer confirmed with their local restaurant that the bagel sandwiches will be available as of April 1st. I love all the sleuthing that went into finding a bagel sandwich. Facebook user Casey Ketchum set the record straight on the expected relaunch date. Quote, PSA, I keep seeing people stating, do not reply on the app showing the bagels to tell if your store has them or not. They don't go live officially until April 1st. So many stores have them, but just not on the app everywhere yet. So there you go. You have to wait till April Fool's Day to get your bagel. So I went back this morning. I asked last Friday and they said the bagel sandwiches would be available Monday, Kayla Rogers replied of her local store. So I went back this morning and they had them, but not on the menu and no advertising yet. McDonald's did not state a date when asked by Men's Journal about the nationwide launch date for the sandwiches. However, McDonald's didn't confirm in a response that another fan favorite item has already made a return in some markets. Beginning March 25th, you can grab the chain's beloved spicy chicken nuggets made of that pink weirdness. And, will live forever. One of them will live forever in a car seat somewhere if you have children. So there you go. In absolutely directly into the center of the sun. I don't know why we're fighting this. Judge Dreadmo is like, and we're done. No more need for due process. So, Principal Mo has to come in here and say, hey, everyone deserves process. A mom charged in the unaliving of a 5-year-old drowned in a potty and buried under the house challenges death penalty eligibility. No, ma'am, I think you're good. I think we settled on the right thing. Uh, I am waiting on a couple more things. The one thing I'm waiting for is supposed to be here today, allegedly. So we are almost there. Just absolute grossness. And she, of course, said she played no role in this, but her live-in boyfriend was responsible. No, you still allowed the abuse to happen. Both Ashley Rowland and Nathan Bridges are charged with the capital offense of the horrid unaliving of Blue Rowland, but the mom's attorney argues that the evidence shows that her client is not eligible for the DP under case law. In this case, the state filed criminal information against Rowland, stating that the co-defendant, Nathan Bridge, was solely responsible for the homicidal act and that Rowland was merely present at the scene. The state declined to address how Rowland participated in the unaliving or how she was otherwise involved. Attorney Aaron Lewis said in a filing dated Thursday. Other discovery produced to the defendant by the state includes a statement from a witness present at the residence on the night of the incident, telling law enforcement that Rowland was screaming, "Stop it," to the co defendant. These facts, when viewed in conjunction with the case law cited above, demonstrate that Rowland is not eligible for the DP. And absolutely not. You're doing something to my child. I allegedly in Minecraft. I am getting a chair, I am getting a rolling pin. We are going full on Tangled. I have a cast iron skillet that I need to reseason, okay? I'm just saying. And good morning, Mr. Tex 1954. Well, I started a bit early, guys, because I do have to leave in about 10 minutes, uh, to take someone to an appointment. I love Mom Taxi. It gives me purpose in my life along with a sink full of dishes. Because if I ever thought I wasn't needed, the sink full of dishes, just gives my life purpose, especially when there's crusty bits all just, cemented on there. I feel my life's purpose just bleeding out of me in rays of sunshine. Hey, if I took care of someone who was hurting my kid, I would be smiling. Be like, "And?" Although I would have a lawyer. I would be smiling, but I'd have a lawyer, and he'd have to say, "Look, she makes funny faces. Her face is all caps, and, we apologize for her facialness." And laundry. Yes, Mount Saint Laundry gives me hope that I haven't, spent my life, you know, working on nothing because the pile just keeps reappearing. It's the never-ending story of adulthood. Authorities in Lee County, Arkansas, say that Bridges stuck his finger in Blue's mouth and the young boy bit him. Yeah, that's why we don't put fingers in people's mouths. Bridges allegedly responded by unaliving the child because he's a gross dumpster trash monster. Rowland stated that she was in the living room while Blue was in the restroom with Bridges, authorities previously wrote. After Bridges left the bathroom, she entered and found her son struggling to breathe, his body limp, she allegedly claimed. After that, Bridges cut a hole in the floor of the room, dug a hole in the ground, and placed the body under the house. Rowland allegedly said that Bridges also caused burns to her 6-year-old daughter's head by holding the child's head and upper torso. No, no, absolutely not. Look, mama's out there, and I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna kinda drop the most stickiness here for a little bit. Look, if you are in a relationship where someone is hurting your child and probably has made you feel less or hurt you, get out. I know it is scary. Look, I have been there. I have stepped out on my own with an 18-month-old and a 5-month-old, okay? I am not telling you it's gonna be easy. I am not telling you it's not gonna be scary as heck, but get out for your health, for your kids' health. You are those children's shields. Do not stay with someone just because you're afraid to be alone or whatever. There are sources out there that can help you, and don't stay with someone like this. Gross dumpster trash monster. So, she had knowledge that he was abusing her children. Now I understand that she probably has, maybe battered woman syndrome to possibly, negate that, and I understand how small these people can make you feel. but for your kids. If you're not gonna do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Come on now. There's, like, an entire army of sisterhood of women who have been through shitty situations who will be there for you, okay? So even if you feel like you're all alone and you don't have family, there were so many other single moms that had been through shitty stuff that helped me and helped me grow up and grow into this situation. There really is a sisterhood, and don't be afraid to take that step. Now, we are done with the after school special of Morning with Mo. Let's see. Defendant Roland is charged with capital murder, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, endangering the welfare of a minor in the first degree, and battery in the first degree. She's also charged with 2 counts of permitting child abuse, with 1 count being for her daughter's injuries. There absolutely does. And I think people, if they talk about how they were able to do it, but not in gross detail, and be really honest about it. We kind of get hyped up on these really awesome, waiting to exhale, women boss, girl boss. Yeah, but look, you will never feel more scared than when you take that first step out of an abusive relationship. And it's okay to be honest about that, but to tell people that once you get a few steps after that, you will look back and you will be so proud of the person you have become. So, just, definitely think about it. Consider it if you are in a bad relationship, male, female, Zimzer. I do not, discriminate, but don't be in a relationship that makes you feel awful and that endangers your kids. Just don't. It's not worth it. Nothing is worth that. Absolutely, absolutely, and there are resources. There needs to be. Look, I am just one Mo on the internets, and I wish I had all of the easy answers to really hard questions. But I think there's a whole lot of bureaucracy, and I think there's a whole lot of waste. I think we could do a whole lot more with what we have currently if we took out a lot of the bloat, if we let people who actually work on the front lines be, executives of these organizations that know where things need to go, that know what to do, because a lot of these nonprofit organizations, a lot of these things have people that have never worked in the trenches of these particular organizations. They are, you know, college educated or they have all the theories, but they've never actually worked in the system. So they don't get how everything really works in the real world. Let the people that have been on the front lines and actually know what to do and have care in their heart for the people that they serve run these organizations. I think we'd have much better outcomes. But like I said, I am just one redhead on the internet, but I am all ears for solutions. I would love for people to start being able to talk to each other from all angles and try to figure out good solutions to hard questions. And on that note, if you need an ear, what the actual Schnell? Our last story, Mike Tyson is selling edibles shaped like a chewed ear, and now you can get them in New York. There might be a reason to go to New York. Oh my gosh. You've got to be kidding me. Pigeons and the devil's lettuce. Who'd have thought, and fighting Logan Paul. Uh, so I am not the most knowledgeable about this, Welsh Lady reads, but I do know that a lot of nonprofit organizations kind of step up where government systems sort of have limitations. So they get government funding as well as grants and fundraising of other kinds. So it is, uh, I wish I had more detailed, information, but I worked there from when I was, like, 21 to 24, so I was medium smart. And yes, I we did the story of the corn. Yeah, and the funding is misappropriated, it's not put in the right places, but yeah, a whole basket food full of fruit, adult toy sculptures, all of the greatest, and ending with Mike Tyson and devil's lettuce. New York dispensaries are stocking their shelves with Mike Tyson branded edibles shaped like an ear with a bite mark, a callback to Iron Mike, Mike's heavyweight showdown with Evander Holyfield. Uh, the 57-year-old Brooklyn native who's planning a comeback fight against Jake Paul. I'm sorry, I said Logan Paul. I can't tell the 2 apart. It's like Bop or what was that, Hanson? I could never tell. I was like the 3 long-haired hippie kids. No idea. And Mr. Mo does have Bop on our playlist, and he will play it on repeat to the point that his cuteness is for his own safety. Uh, and he is rolling out his Tyson 2.0 Mike's Bites. He's planning a promotional blitz at shops next month, including an event at Times Square, a spokesperson told the Post. But the gummies have already appeared at dispensaries, Strained Stars in Farmingdale, and Housing Works in the Greenwich Village, Grow Together in Brooklyn, and Flintstoned in Syracuse, and Stage One in Rensselaer. Quote, growing up in Brooklyn, I would have never imagined a time when cannabis would be legally utilized to enhance both mental and physical well being, Mike Tyson said in a statement. Yet here we are witnessing the incredible progress. Sir, you're not Rosa Parks. You're selling gummies with a bite out of the ear. Okay? Let's slow the roll down on civil justice. New York, we still have improvements to make in expanding access to this plant based wellness, but together I'm confident we will forge a new standard of excellence, prioritizing safety, quality, and taste to ensure unparalleled experiences. The former champ famously gnawed on Evander Holyfield's ear as they clinched during a WBA title fight on July 28th, 1997, a move that got him disqualified. Not everyone in the cannabis industry is high on promoting Tyson's THC infused products, pointing to his criminal record that includes the 1992 conviction for graping Miss Black America contestant Desiree Washington in Indiana, and accusations of spousal abuse. He was also jailed briefly for assaulting 2 motorists after a fender bender in Maryland. Quote, they are honoring this convicted rapist and wife beater as a role model. We should have a much better role model. Y'all, again, you are not freaking, you know, no, you are not Rosa Parks. This is a dispensary. Y'all are selling gummies that look like nerds, okay? Or you are selling Cheetos infused with THC dust and things that are named like Grandpa Purple. Imma need you all to get a little bit off your high horses, okay? Like, again, you guys are selling, you know, somewhat funnily named THC laced product. I really need you to get way off your high horses. And I think it's funny. Look, honest to goodness, if I had a chance allegedly to buy one of these, I think it's pretty funny. I think the ear gummy is funny, but I like absurd things. So there you go. I wonder if you get to that is a good point, P. Lola's mom, if you get to, take a little discount off for the gummy part that's not there. Don't know. But there you go. That is the morning newsy news with me, and I hope you have had a fun time if you are on the replay crew. I had no idea what I was in for, but I always love being derailed by comically absurd stories. And just as a reminder, there will not be newsy news tonight because it is date night, but I might be doing, depending on how long mom taxi duty is, I might be doing a couple of videos about some fun stories that don't quite go in newsy news because they're either serious or just not quite there. So I might be doing some standalone videos today, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, or the squirrels don't come in force and, give me all of the 17 million ideas. So have a lovely day. I think I am sending you off to Vices. He's got updates on the, I want to say Aguilera case. And have a wonderful day, guys. I will see you later. If I can find the button. There you go.